The very hard thing is overcoming some of the limitations in the way we all naturally think. Okay? The human mind is a wonderful thing. We naturally do many, many great things. We learn to control our bodies. We learn to use language. We learn to get along in social groups. It's wonderful. Okay? And we're evolved to learn those ways using a style of learning that is inductive. Okay? Seeing patterns in the world, seeing something happen a couple of times and figuring out how to mimic the pattern. It's the way people learn language is sort of the obvious thing that we learn inductively. It's the way of learning that comes naturally to us. Okay? We don't have to learn it. Inductive learning has a relationship to inductive reasoning. Okay? Inductive reasoning is the idea of going from observing specific cases to making a general conclusion. Okay? So I observe rain clouds in the west. It rains in a couple hours. I observe them again. It rains in a couple hours. By the third day, I'm starting to see the pattern. That's inductive learning. Okay? And that's inductive reasoning, going from specific cases to a general statement. Nobody's going to beat the ability to do inductive learning out of you. It's yours. You'll have it for the rest of your life. It's great. It has its limits, though. Okay? Inductive reasoning is efficient. It's the source of much of our creativity and much of our effectiveness. The problem with inductive reasoning is that sometimes we're wrong. Okay? We're limited by our experience. Inductive reasoning, as naturally as we come by it, has a flaw compared to deductive reasoning. Inductive reasoning comes naturally, but is sometimes wrong. Deductive reasoning, exactly the opposite. Deductive reasoning is hard. We make mistakes if we're not careful, but if we don't make mistakes, we're not going to be wrong. Deductive logic is the standard by which we judge all statements, all human statements, all inferences, okay? We're not wrong if it's done right. Moreover, we're in complete agreement about what is logically valid and what is not, okay? Inductive reasoning, we may be very different about how we think the world works because the specific things we're generalizing from are different. Deductive reasoning, we start from general assumptions. Okay, we start from something that we're all willing to accept and deduce, there's that word, specific conclusions. Okay? If we follow the rules of deductive reasoning, the relationship between our assumptions and our specific conclusions is not going to be wrong. Now, our assumption might not be right. Okay, that's something we always have to be aware of. But if we're willing to accept the assumption and we think deductively, our specific conclusions will be true. Deductive reasoning is the very hard thing that math makes a little bit easier. Okay? Deductive reasoning is not what comes naturally to us.